Welcome everybody to this webinar for Transoft Solutions in their In Focus series. My name is Bernard Goodworth. I've been working at Cologne-Bonn Airport for the last 23 years in designing and planning in the operations of all of their airside operations there. And I would like this morning to present you a little presentation here on the lacking of regulations for ground markings for pushback at airports. Pushback is something which is becoming more and more prevalent because airports are more and more cramped for space. Always much less taxi out happening at airports, and the need for markings for the safety of pushback becoming more and more prevalent. And there are very few guides for us from ICAO, EASA, or whoever our national regulation is to help us achieve safety and regularity with our pushback maneuvers. So let me just start this morning after welcoming you all. Glad to have you all with us. Now, I will start here with something which I've dug up here from our aerodrome design manuals from ICAO, where they explain, first of all, the aircraft arriving at a stand. So before we push back, first we have to have an aircraft there. So what they say is, if we examine the case of long-bodied jets, the taxiing pilot has to control one of the largest, heaviest, and most inefficiently powered tricycles ever made. I found this quite an amusing statement from them, and they continue to say here that the pilot is seated at least 6 meters above the ground, and the nearest point ahead of which he can see is almost 12 meters. And further on they say, okay, while we're steering the nose wheel, we are actually trying to guide the main gear to keep it over the center lines. And this main gear is often up to 27 meters behind the pilot, so it's quite a difficult thing for a pilot to steer very accurately, which is one of the reasons why our markings that we're designing on the ground are so very important. And so a summary to what ICAO has said there about an aircraft arriving at a stand. So the aircraft is moving forward under its own power, and that's a wing-mounted power as well, which is quite inefficient for control of the aircraft on the ground. So before arriving at the stand as well, the pilot has full control and is using his own judgment to come in. And at the stand itself, there is either a marshaller to help us get in, to guide the pilot with his nose gear to bring the aircraft at or as near as possible aligned with the stop line and onto his stop bar. We get some information from the ICAO documents as well about turn lines if we mark an oversteer onto a stand. They suggest